game. Today we remember that our players are students first and recognize the importance of our teachers, staff, and administrators in ensuring players are successful on and off the ice. Today each senior has chosen a staff member to honor and celebrate. We are excited to honor the incredible teachers and support staff who allow student athletes to learn, grow, and thrive every single day. Josh Neal, the high school lunch ladies. I am really grateful for the lunch ladies, not just for the food, but because it reminds me of how lucky I am to be surrounded by people who take time to do something thoughtful. I wanted to show appreciation because kindness like that genuinely matters a lot to me. It doesn't go unnoticed. Connor Perrin. I would like to nominate Nick Marcus, business teacher at Biddeford High School. He has been a great teacher with helping me this year, finding my career path and being a great role model. Connor Tebow. Connor Tebow. I would like to recognize teacher Marsh Gray. Although I have never had Mr. Gray as a teacher, he has been a big influence on me throughout my high school career, notably being my lacrosse coach for all 4 years and hockey coach for a season. Under his leadership, I learned how to push myself and always improve on something. He showed me many different ways to elevate my sports career, and that is why I am recognizing him today. Brett Aceto. Mr. True, thank you very much for being a supportive and caring teacher all 4 years of my high school years. I am very lucky to have a teacher like you. Brendan Dallin. Mrs. Nichols is so interested in her students and has inspired me to not only be a better learner, but has also helped guide me in knowing that I want to enter the medical field. I am so appreciative of her. And although they are unable to be with us today, we would also like to acknowledge the following teachers. From Aiden Heyman, John Edstrom. I would like to recognize teacher John Edstrom. While I may have only been in one of his classes, the experience I had in his classroom made learning fun and success possible. John is an amazing teacher who not only taught me important life lessons that I will take with me far beyond high school. He is an amazing outlet, whether you need help with an assignment, accessing resources that will ensure your success, or if you just need someone to talk to. John is not just a great teacher, but also a great man, and it is teachers like him that the school needs more of. Henry Ober. I would like to thank Mrs. Bolaños for all the time and support she has provided me throughout my high school career. Mrs. Bolaños is less of a teacher in my eyes and more of a friend. And Bronson Eldridge. I nominate Mrs. Dennison because although we have had a rough start, she never gave up on me. And slowly over the past 4 years, I've become one of her favorites.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Biddeford Ice Arena for today's contest between the visiting Dragons from Brunswick and Freeport High School and the Wildcats representing players from York, Biddeford, and Orchard Beach. We would like to remind spectators that our state is currently dealing with a shortage of game officials in all high school sports. Please remember to respect and appreciate the individuals who are here today, making this playing experience possible for our student athletes. Please remember, respect the referee, no ref, no game. Now, for today's starting lineups, starting with the visiting Dragons, number 3 on defense, Ethan Patterson. On defense, number 24, Ned Buck. Playing center, number 23, Evan Dorsey. Left wing, number 9, Cole Bowditch. Right wing, number 19, Jameson Palmer. And in the Dragons' goal, number 1, Michael Shoemaker. The Dragons are coached by Mr. Dennis Huckerman and assisted by Mike Bisner and Matt Westcott. And now, it's time to meet the starters for your New York Wildcats. And defense, number 2, Aiden Harlan. And defense, number 18, Connor Parent. Playing center, number 20, Marcus Cheesy. Left wing, number 11, Levi Bernard. Right wing, number 9, Joey Davis. And in the offense goal, number 44, Connor Tebow. The Dragons Wildcats are coached by Peter Norris and assisted by Mr. Doug Bowen and Mr. Mike Bell and Mr. Thomas Olson, and managed by Mr. Fabian Crespo and Mr. Paul Eldridge. At this time, please rise and remove your caps while we honor flag and country with the playing of our national anthem.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Biddeford Ice Arena in Biddeford, Maine for a matchup between your Brunswick Freeport Dragons and the Wildcats of York, Biddeford, and Old Orchard Beach. I'm Robert Bowen, joined by Malachi Madore here today.
Hi, Robert. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, Malachi.
Of course.
Thank you.
No problem.
I just wanted to say thank you for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome for getting us here pretty quick, in the Volks.
Well, York comes in at 11-4, ranked second in Class B South. The Dragons at number 6. There really are two tiers in Class B South. That between the teams at 11 wins, 12, 11, 11, and 9 wins between the top 4 teams of Gorham, Clog, York, and Kennebunk. And then you have your bottom tier. All 4 teams have only 4 wins. Brunswick, Greeley, Cape Elizabeth, and Gardner. So among the 2 tiers, these 2 teams are each number 2. Brunswick at number 6 would be the second best team in that second tier versus, of course, York, the number 2 team in the top tier.
See if Brunswick can get an upset today to boost their chances going into the playoffs. Ethan Patterson back today. What are you expecting to see from him, Robert?
Yeah, I think he's going to be on a pretty limited pitch count, but with Sam Jansen and Avery Sampson both out today, normally starting defensemen, definitely going to need Ethan for as many shifts as he can manage with his shoulder injury that he suffered a couple weeks ago at Camden Hills. But number 3 in black, best player on the team, we'll see a little bit of him today. Patterson will knock it up the ice, collected by Connor Parent of the Wildcats. Knocked around by Susie. Bowditch fighting for it along the glass. Knocks it up the ice with Dorsey putting chase on. Sent up the ice, stopped by Boak in front of the Dragon bench. Collected by Joey Davis of the Wildcats. And sent up the ice by Palmer. Stopped from being an icing by Will Kuhlman, the freshman, for York. Here's Parent, will put the hit on Patterson. That's his right shoulder. It's the left shoulder that is injured. Here's Drew Wilson as Patterson. Patterson will bank it off the glass. You'll definitely see Patterson stay out for a pretty long shift, with him only getting 1 shift per period, I believe, is the pitch count. Here's Eldridge with speed into the zone. Gets around Bobuff. Will fire save made by Michael Shoemaker. Shoemaker was just in Connecticut yesterday playing box lacrosse goalie. He played quite well, I will say, Malachi. Made it to the championship to lose to, who did we lose to? I don't quite remember, but Michael was a great goalie.
Would have won if you had a certain someone on the field there due to an unfortunate injury.
Oh, myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Michael played great in net. Ryan Livesey, the backup goalie, was also there, scored 3 goals on the day. Really, box lacrosse, great sport. Maybe we'll have to stream some of that someday. Of course, none of it is played in Maine, but in Canada, I feel like they have high school box lacrosse, so we'll ship up to Canada sometime and stream some box lacrosse on BHSN. Bowditch will knock it around for Aiden Heyman. Here's Dorsey to put it on net, stick aside by Connor Tebow. This is a big collision here. That was Brendan Dowling who is going to go to the box for that. Dowling puts the big hit on Bowditch. I did not see it happen, Malachi. It was behind the play, but I did talk to you before the game about Brendan Dowling being the type of guy to have a lot of hits after whistles, and he goes to the box right away for York.
Seen it already here, Robert. I didn't see the hit either, but you could hear him hit the glass. Hope he's okay here. Wick with the power play here. See if they can get some offense going early on.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out if that hit was on camera or not. And okay, it was a shoulder into the head of Cole Bowditch. Send him into the boards. Definitely interference. This is Sam Anasio, who is a second-line defenseman today with Sam Jansen and Avery Sampson both out. Anasio knocks it towards Palmer. Back to Anasio. Missing 2 Sams, so Sam Anasio fills in. We still have at least 1 Sam among the 4 defensemen playing today. Because Avery Sampson, of course, nickname is Sammy. Then you still have Sam Jansen, the other guy who's out. It's pretty crazy, Malachi. Just wait until you play York, or rather Kennebunk, who also has someone named Sampson. Here's Rathbone, leaves it back for Anasio. And York cannot clear the zone, now does. Stopped by Wilson. Too far for Palmer. Rathbone will skate off for Cole Bowditch. Good to see him right back into the game after taking that hit from Dowling. Minute to go on the power play. Bowditch back to Wilson. And lofted up the ice, gets on net to Shoemaker. Will paddle aside towards Bobuff. Here's Susie centering pass, broken up by Bowditch. Bobuff will try to clear the zone. Bowditch getting into a bit of a shoving match with Eldridge lying on the ice. Bobuff will look to clear to Kittinger. Stripped of the puck by Eldridge. And here is Bobuff. Leaves it up to James Salco. Loses the puck back to Eldridge. Dragon power play really hasn't had too much of a scoring chance.
Not at all, Robert. I don't think any shots as of yet.
Here's Eldridge, will send it back to his own net. Stopped by Tebow. And that will release the York lacrosse goalie, Brendan Dowling, and we're back to 5-on-5 play.
Penalty killer, really good for York there. Not a single shot by the Dragons.
Absolutely right. Joey Davis will take the puck from Bodic. Bodic gets it right back, though. Loses it again. Boak, great job to keep it in the zone. Taken back over by Heyman, though, of York. Boak can't keep it in the zone that time. It'll roll all the way back. No icing. On the forecheck is Levi Bernard putting on pressure on the puck from Inacio, and they're able to steal the puck with number 10, who is not on a roster. Here's a bouncing puck off the leg pad of Michael Shoemaker. Shot is wide by Bernard. Davis will collect for the Wildcats, stopped by Newell, gloved by Michael Shoemaker. Offensive zone face-off for the Wildcats. That's only about our... Haven't had too many whistles so far, Malachi.
Not at all, Robert, and it's putting a lot of pressure on this already understaffed Brunswick defense.
Is that only the second time you've had to press pause on the scoreboard sponsored by Singer Domingo Sportside Real Estate?
It would be, yes, Robert.
Ethan Patterson back on the ice. I guess he's not in a pitch count. That would be pretty amazing if he was able to play a full game. Maybe just with Sam and Samson out. But that is fantastic to see, Malachi, that we might see a whole game from Ethan Patterson. Definitely not going to be seeing his normal physical play style, but he'll do as much hitting as he can.
Love to see it, Robert. Already had some big hits by York here. See if Brunswick can match the physicality.
Here comes Parent, guarded by Patterson. He'll break up the pass, and it gets to Drew Wilson. Can't clear the zone. Dowling's got it. Will fire, save Shoemaker, and he'll freeze it. Patterson will put a shove on Neal. Bodic also shoves Neal. Josh Neal played some lacrosse with him back in the day. And I think Neal's getting a talking to from the linesman. Viewer, do you want to pan over to the right a little bit so you can show Neal in the... Oh, okay, it's over. Well, Neal will go to the bench. Still 5-on-5 play. I assume Neal probably took some type of poke at Shoemaker after the play. He did, yeah. Yeah, you can't do that. Shoemaker's got the puck and just a little poke by Neal. Patterson and Bodic both give him a little love tap. Linesman gives him a little talking to. This puck legs of the zone. Can Kenger win it to himself up ahead? It'll be retrieved by Will Kuhlman. Lofted up the ice to Eldridge. Broken up by Inacio, but here's Parent entering the zone. Connor Parent will fire, gloved by Shoemaker.
Another good save there, but Brunswick going to have to work on stopping the transition breakaways better.
Shots on goal definitely led by the Wildcats thus far. Second line of forwards for the Dragons out with Rathbone, Salco, and Kinder. Giving up the ice to Salco. Tries to backhand it to Rathbone. Rathbone now back to Salco, stolen by Eldridge. Sent up the ice for what should be an icing. No. The linesman says it was deflected. Boak will lose the puck. Chance for Ober. Couldn't get the shot off. Centering pass broken up by Ned Boak. Can't clear the zone though. Shoemaker will stick it aside. And big collision here with Joey Davis on Ned Boak. Inacio has it for Brunswick Freeport. Loses it to Joey Davis. Davis now in the high slot. He'll look to fire and score! 1-0 Wildcats. It's Joey Davis, the junior forward from Biddeford.
Brunswick really not able to close down the threat there, giving him lots of time up at the key position to shoot.
Yeah, all day to fire for Davis. Dorsey will take the draw up against Marcus Susi. Last time these two teams played, it was a 3-0 win by York over the Dragons. Ryan Livesey was in net that game for Brunswick Freeport. He had 50 saves, at least recorded 50 saves with the generous Watson Arena stat keeping. Palmer will give it up to Cole Bowditch. Looks to get around Newell. Will get sandwiched against the boards. Dorsey with the hit and retrieves the puck back into Palmer. Couldn't handle it, but Bowditch has it now. Bowditch will have it deflected and goes into the netting. Nearly a golden scoring chance for Jamison Palmer in the slot.
Good response from Brunswick there, coming out with more energy as we saw early in the first half.
Does seem like every game it is the Jeb line, just using slang for Dorsey, Palmer, and Bowditch. When they're together, it seems like they generate all of these settled offensive possessions for the Dragons.
See if they can keep that up here, Robert.
Now the third line is on with Tyler Landry, Carter Copeland, and Nicky Heaston. Here is Neal. Puck knocked around for Brendan Dowling. Back to Brett Aceto. An all-lacrosse player forward line. Aceto will fire it over the net. Puck is wide of the net by Will Kuhlman. Dowling backhands it to Neal. Neal centering pass broken up by Shoemaker. Brett Aceto will look to center to Copeland. Knocked around by Kuhlman again. Long stretch of zone time for York. And the Dragons still can't clear the zone. Neal will center. Broken up by Boak, still alive. Shoemaker will freeze it and absorbs an extra poke check from Brendan Dowling.
Big surprise there, Robert, but Brunswick still not able to clear the danger, allowing, I counted almost 5 shots in that sequence back there. Really got to do better at closing down those shooting opportunities.
Absolutely. It'll be Rathbone, Kittinger, and Salco now on for the Dragons forwards. Rathbone versus Susi on the draw. Save made, Shoemaker. Ignacio will finally clear the zone, but should be an icing. And York will go right back on the attack. With the offensive zone face-off. Same 10 skaters will stay out there for the two teams. Big game on Wednesday on Brunswick High Sports Network as the Brunswick boys basketball team faces Edward Little for the 3rd time this season in the Class A North semifinals. Shot by Davis is blockered aside by Shoemaker. Rather, Henry Ober put that one on net. Centering pass by Eldridge, nobody home. Newell towards the net and wide. Eldridge will send it across to Ober, but Rathbone able to exit the zone only for a moment as Ober will throw down Kittinger. Shot, Eldridge, save made, rebound collected by Eldridge. His mulligan will not go in, and finally it'll go. Shoemaker made the initial 3 saves, but the 4th one will fall. 2-0 Wildcats.
Brunswick not able to clear the garbage out the side of the net here. A lot of good saves, but defense not picking him up. 2-0 York early on in the first period.
Can't ask too much more from Shoemaker there. 3 saves, 4th one still wide open in the slot is our unknown soldier, number 10, who buries it for the Wildcats. Eldridge will carry the puck into the offensive zone. And here's Bowditch, a chance for the Dragons. Cole Bowditch will enter the zone. We'll leave it off for Dorsey in the slot. Handle it. And it's taken over by Heyman behind the York net. Save made by Shoemaker, and Ossio will backhand it towards Jamison Palmer. Back to Ignacio. Spins, taken over by Susi. hit by Heaston. Susie will get thrown down from behind by Dorsey. Rather, it was Palmer who got lit up initially by Susie, and I believe it was the retaliation on Dorsey that will result in a penalty. And yes, Dorsey 2 minutes for cross-checking will be our first power play for York.
See if the Dragons can get a good penalty kill here. Defense already tired, understaffed here. Let's hope they don't concede another one in the next 2 minutes.
Dragon penalty kill will be Rathbone, Salco, Patterson, and Drew Wilson.
Number 23, Evan Dorsey.
Good to see Ethan Patterson out there.
Cross-checking.
Tebow leaves it off for Kuhlman. Kuhlman sends it up the ice for Parent. Puck gets through to Ethan Patterson. I would take Patterson shorthanded as some of the best offense that the Dragons, in terms of best scoring chances, I would take Patterson on the ice right now, shorthanded over some of the other offense that they've had. Rathbone deflects the puck over the net. Brendan Dowling cannot kick it to himself. Here's Neal, though, picked off by Salco, sends it up the ice to kill some more clock. And the Dragons will get a near wholesale penalty kill change. Only Ethan Patterson stays out. Will be an icing for the York power play. Dragon penalty kill will get the ozone face-off. Patterson stays out. He's been out for the last 57 seconds and will skate on. As Bobuff to his left, it is Heaston and Kittinger, the two forwards on the Dragon penalty kill. Kittinger wins the draw. Heaston tracks the puck down. Loses it off the poke by Aiden Heyman. Bobuff sends it back into the York defensive zone, and the Dragon penalty kill has been pretty fantastic so far. No York scoring chances yet. Bobuff will knock that puck right into the official for a whistle. Being an official, very dangerous in the sport of hockey. You've got to be very athletic. You're going to get hit by pucks. Of course, all Maine sports are in need of officials. If you want to become one, you really should. It's a great job, I'm sure. It's actually not a great job, largely thanks to parents and players and fans who love to complain to the officials and make their jobs really hard. And if there are no refs, we wouldn't be able to play sports. So I implore you guys to not really get too angry at the refs. They do their best. They really do.
Yeah, as an official myself, some parents, even at 3rd and 4th grade youth games, really getting out of control. So just keep it fun for everyone.
This is Joey Davis trying to jumpstart the York power play. He will gain the zone, control the puck, fire, save Shoemaker. The rebound will go over the net, and now Ethan Patterson has been on the ice for the entire 2-minute penalty kill. Dragon penalty kill is 1 for 1, as well as York's. Dorsey breaks up that pass attempt by Davis. Shot blocked by Theo Lyons. Palmer sends it towards Lyons and into the York zone. Parent collects. Parent tries to get around Palmer, and that'll be an offside. It was Henry Ober who is over the blue line. Neutral zone face-off. Dragons send out Kittinger, Salco, and Rathbone, as well as Inacio and Boak on the defense. Rathbone versus Levi Bernard, the freshman forward from Biddeford, the center out there for the Wildcats right now. York was a single school team last season. It was just the York Wildcats. Then last year it was Boom was the team, Biddeford, Old Orchard, and Massabesic. That team broke up. They gave Massabesic to Gorham. Now this season it's Gorham, Massabesic, and then Biddeford and Old Orchard went to York. And fascinating enough, this Wildcats team actually has more Biddeford players than York, with 11 from York, 12 from Biddeford, and 1 Lucas Hall from Old Orchard Beach. But 2 single school teams last year, Gorham and York, each became co-ops when Biddeford, Old Orchard, and Massabesic broke up. that Biddeford Old Orchard Massabesic team the Dragons beat in overtime in this rink last year. Avery Tatham scored the game winner. Shot saved Shoemaker. Backhand attempt was also stopped by Shoemaker, and that one's going to find the back of the net. The unknown number 10 has his second goal, somehow sneaking it in at the near side pipe.
Shoemaker making a lot of saves here, but again, the defense unable to clear out the garbage, and 3-0 already in the first period here. What are the Dragons going to need to do to stay in this game here, Robert?
They got to get some zone time. York has completely dominated in that category. It's only the Dorsey-Palmer Bowditch line that can get any sort of offensive settled attempt. So you just got to get those three out there as much as humanly possible. Ethan Patterson is going to have to play some more hockey. Dowling on net save made Shoemaker. Got to stay out of the penalty box, although the penalty kill did look good for the Dragons. They still didn't get any offense out of it. So stay out of the box and get the Jeb line on as much as possible. That's all I can really say. Rocket is blocked and over the net. Definitely just cannot let York have this much zone time, but at the same time can't just ice it afterwards. Got to have some good breakouts. Here's Dowling. We'll get into the high slot and will be taken down by Copeland. Shot is on net, save Shoemaker, and the rebound will go just wide. Brendan Dowling had a wide open net. Shoemaker was on the ice. Houston chasing after it will still be an icing, and that's what I'm saying, Malachi. When the Dragons try to break the puck out, they just ice it, equals just more zone time for York.
Yeah, really not relieving any pressure on the Dragons' defense. The offense unable to maintain possession in the final third here, really just chasing after it to no avail.
Josh Neal versus Evan Dorsey for the York offensive zone faceoff. Neal wins it to himself and will fire. Save made by Shoemaker. Rebound collected by Neal. Neal up top to Parent. Parent fires. Puck is deflected by Brendan Dowling. Centering pass by Aceto is broken up by Dorsey. Dowling will leave it back to Parent. Parent with 10 seconds. Deflected and wide. Rebound goes over the net. Dowling one last chance with 2 seconds. Centering pass. Parent couldn't get, or rather Neal couldn't get the shot off. And that'll do it for our first period of action. York, who won in these two teams' last meeting, York won 3-0, and they'll be up 3-0 after just the first period. Goals by Joey Davis and 2 by number 10, who's not on our roster. But it'll be 3-0 York as we take a break. Brandon Ware on the camera. Myself, Robert Bowen, and Malachi Madore on the microphone, as well as Malachi running our scoreboard, sponsored by Singer Domingo Sportside Real Estate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to second period of action here from Biddeford Ice Arena in, where's Biddeford Ice Arena?
Biddeford?
As I thought. Biddeford Ice Arena in Biddeford, Maine, for a matchup between the Brunswick / Freeport Dragons and the York / Biddeford / Old / Orchard / Beach Wildcats. The Wildcats lead 3-0 after the first period. Dragons have not had too many scoring chances. I don't believe I've really said Connor Tebow's name yet in terms of making a save. They've had a couple good chances just from Dorsey, Palmer, and Bowditch just getting the puck in the zone, getting some passes, but Tebow is yet to be truly tested.
Yeah, Brunswick not really able to clear the puck up the ice right off the bat in the second period here.
That was Wilson who fanned on the pass, and a chance for Joey Davis, who will dump it down to Levi Bernard. Ethan Patterson not on the ice to start the period. Dorsey tries to clear the zone. It's Parent who fires it wide. Palmer trying to exit, and he does. Sends it up the ice to nobody, and it'll be an icing.
Been seeing a lot of that from the Dragons here. Not finding their teammates up the ice and just letting York retain possession, putting more pressure on their defense.
Michael Shoemaker has already seen a lot of shots. And it'll be Rathbone versus Eldridge for the defensive zone faceoff. Has Salco at his left wing. Salco putting on pressure. Shot is wide. Kittinger will look to exit the zone, but the puck gets back to Newell. Newell on net save Shoemaker. And this is now Ryan Nyhill, who is playing defense, usually a forward, now a defenseman paired with Ned Boak to start the second period. Shot saved by the leg pad of Shoemaker. Aiden Heyman knocks it around. Nyhill looking to clear, kept in by Newell. Eldridge will center, nobody home. The puck will roll all the way back into the York defensive zone, stopped by Tebow. Salco putting pressure on Ober, who will send it for no icing. Say it was deflected by Eldridge. Eldridge collects, centering pass, shot, save made by Shoemaker. Brendan Dowling could not bury it. Dowling gets it back though. He'll fire, save Shoemaker again. Copeland knocks it out of harm's way. Neal's got it for the Wildcats. Copeland trying to steal it. Neal up to Heyman, shot save Shoemaker, rebound to Neal. Shoemaker trying to trap the puck against the net, could not. Aceto dumps towards the net. Neal turns around, fires it wide, and just relentless pressure from the York offense. Dragons still cannot clear the zone. Shot is blocked, and now Landry will look to clear.
Again, turn it over in center ice. Shoemaker the only thing keeping the Dragons in it to this point.
Heyman sends it to Neal. Neal has it entering the zone. Dowling not there. Can Heaston, or rather Palmer, get to that puck? Or rather Landry. Wow, that took 3 attempts. All 3 between 18, 19, and 10. Really do look identical, all lefties as well.
Unbelievable, Robert. Slacking. We went over this before the game.
Guys just cannot be tucking in their jerseys. Really just makes it impossible. Well, Heaston is a righty, so should be able to differentiate them at least. Save made by Shoemaker. Puck wound up in the back of the net, but it is no goal. Shoemaker throws it. Then some extra poke by Dowling or Neal from the back of the net. But ozone face-off for the Wildcats still.
What was the call there, Robert?
They said he froze the puck.
Okay.
Face-off for Susie, one for the Wildcats. Kuman dumps it around. Wilson looking to collect for Brunswick Freeport cannot. Joey Davis has it for the Wildcats now. Davis will look to fire. Band on the shot. Kuhlman knocks it behind the net. Wilson looking to clear. Dumped back to Newell, who scores. I believe it was deflected by Marcus Susi. And it's 4-0. And just relentless pressure. If you're in the zone for 5 minutes, you're probably going to score, Malachi.
Yeah.
And for all 4 minutes of the period, that's where York was.
Can't fault Shoemaker for that one. Making save after save, not getting backed up by his defense and offense, not being able to generate any real opportunities and move the puck past center ice.
It'll be back to Dorsey, Bowditch, and Palmer for Dragons.
Number 20, Marcus Juicy.
Stolen back by Caleb Lemieux on the ice for the first time. The freshman taken away by Parker Blay, saved by Shoemaker. But yeah, first time we've seen this third line of forwards for the Wildcats. Bowditch will enter the zone, backhands it towards Palmer, but cleared. Now with Blay, who will be hit by Nihill. Dorsey's got it. Sends to Nihill. Palmer's releasing up the ice, and it's a nice pass by Nihill to Palmer entering the zone. Palmer knocks it around Parker Blay. Or rather, Aiden Heyman.
Yeah.
Here's Dorsey turning around, centering to Palmer. Save made by Tebow. And Blay will knock it around the back wall. And Bowditch gets stopped by the official. I believe Bowditch would have been able to pick up that puck, but official said a great pick.
Oh yeah, and the first shot for the Dragons in quite a few minutes, I think, Robert, back at that last sequence.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure they had a shot on goal earlier, but it had definitely been at least 10 minutes of game time.
Just not good hockey, not getting pressure on the opposing defense, allowing them to sit back and wait for their chances, resulting in 4 goals already.
Copeland versus Eldridge. He has Nicky Heaston and Theo Lyons on with him. Heaston, one of the fastest skaters on the team, but could not get to the puck in the York defensive zone. Now he'll steal it. Heaston will send the puck right to Kuhlman. Lyons knocks it back in. Puck clears the zone to Drew Wilson. Eldridge on the forecheck. Ethan Patterson back onto the ice. Of course, we should have a dedicated Ethan Patterson tracker. Should have brought a 4th person just to tell us where Ethan is at every moment.
It's really important to the team here, not having him on the ice full time, full contact, really hurting the Dragons here.
100%. Patterson, pretty much back when the Dragons could actually break the puck out of the defensive zone, it was pretty much always just Ethan Patterson skating by everybody or having a nice pass up the ice to a forward. And with him out, they just really can't break the puck out of the zone at all. Here's Parent. Will fire, save Shoemaker. Eldridge has it now. If you want to see some great Ethan Patterson defensive tape, you go and rewatch the Brunswick versus Coney hockey game. That was, Patterson did score a goal, so maybe that's why you think it was a great Patterson game, but he played fantastic defense. I might actually, on the ride home, Malachi, might just go and rewatch that Coney game. Some great Ethan Patterson clips, and now here is Copeland.
Great way to spend your ride home, Robert.
Here is Kuhlman. Loses the puck. The old turf monster guy. Patterson knocks it to himself up ice, but he's hit by a Wildcat. Back to Patterson now. He'll enter the zone himself. No. Patterson will hit number 10 back after the play, and Patterson is now off the ice. Eldridge gains the zone. Tries to get around Boak. broken up by the skate of Dorsey. And here's Palmer. Rockets up the ice, caught by Bowditch, released for the moment, taken away by Ober now. He'll gain the zone for the Wildcats again. Shot over the net. Stopped by Heyman, who puts it wide. Here's Neal, back to Wyatt. Bowditch gives it up to Dorsey. Dorsey's got it for the Dragons. Entering the zone, Evan Dorsey hangs back. On net, save Tebow. There's another shot on goal. Still not a true shot by Dorsey, just trying to dump it on net to get some offense set up, but unable to. Dowling loses it. Neal fires, gloved by Shoemaker.
Good shot from Dorsey there, but just no follow-up attacks, no crashing the net, looking for rebounds here. Another good save by Shoemaker, but still, Dragons not able to get any real chances.
They'll send on Rathbone, Salco, and Kittinger versus, once again, that all lacrosse player line. Brett Aceto, an attackman for York, Josh Neal, a midfielder, and Brendan Dowling, their goaltender, that forward line. So, sure they know. Got some good chemistry there. They're skating as the second line for York this afternoon, but I feel like they're the best line that they have offensively. Neal enters the zone, bumped by Kittinger. Dowling couldn't handle it. Heyman fires wide of the net, stopped by Wyatt. Aceto spinning on Inacio. Leaves it off. Salco broke up the pass, but it still gets through to Josh Neal. Knocks it around, kept in by Heyman. Giving it up to Dowling, high slot. Nice poke by Nat Rathbone, sends the puck into the York defensive zone to be retrieved by Aiden Heyman. Rathbone nearly broke up that pass, but Aceto gets it back. Salco battling with Aceto for it, and Aceto wins that battle. Wilson sends it to Rathbone. And the Dragons finally at least getting the puck into the neutral zone, but Neal gains the zone back for the Wildcats. Here's Aceto now. Aceto, I must say, Brett Aceto, number 92 in white, handles the puck as good as anyone I've seen this year in Maine high school hockey.
Dragons sometimes having 2 or 3 defenders on certain guys, still not able to seal the puck.
And that was Aceto who put it on net, save made by Shoemaker. And Ethan Patterson back on the ice. He'll skate on with Ned Vogt. I must say, I really did like you. I don't believe you watched the game, Malachi, but Patterson played forward last game against Kennebunk, had a couple good scoring chances. I wouldn't mind seeing him play in that spot again, but with Sam Jansen and Avery Sampson both out this afternoon, Patterson, in his limited role, forced to play defense.
I wouldn't mind seeing that either. Not much to lose on defense here, already 4-0. Might as well go for a goal.
Sends up the ice for Nicky Heaston entering the zone. Nicky Heaston will fire over the net. Broken up by Connor Parent. Boak knocks it back into the offensive zone. Official says it was broken up by Newell, so no icing. Newell tries to get around Heaston and Copeland. Copeland steals the puck. And can Lyons win it to himself? Lyons gets lit up and stood over for a penalty by Marcus Susi. Dragon power play gets their second chance. It's a roughing on Susi. Patterson wants head contact, which would be a greater foul, but it's just a rough. Patterson still talking to the official. Official saying it is not head contact, so just a 2-minute minor for Marcus Susi. The Dragon power play getting their second chance. Ethan Patterson on with Drew Wilson and the Jeb line.
Do you think we'll see any shots here, Robert?
I have to imagine the Dragons can get at least one shot, but you never really do know.
Wildcats penalty, number 20.
Dorsey
2 minutes for
fighting for the puck. And Neal will look to clear, kept in the zone by none other than Ethan Patterson. Palmer will keep it in the zone the other side. Palmer loses to Dorsey. Dorsey will give the puck up as now Palmer is knocked down and he is slow to get up. Shot is blocked by Aceto. Patterson getting back on defense. Patterson goes right after Aceto and knocks him down. Palmer's just getting up now, and the official will finally blow the whistle for Jamison Palmer, who is grabbing at his head. I guess you have to wait until the team who's injured gets the puck to blow the whistle for the injury, but seems kind of silly when the Dragons finally got the puck, and then there's a whistle. That's interesting.
Does seem that way, Robert, but he wasn't in any real danger on the other side of the ice for further contact.
Yeah, I would kind of hope the official did not blow that whistle. If I were the official, I would probably go back and not blow the whistle. And we have another conversation between Patterson and the linesman.
Patterson just doing what he can at this point to help his team, talking to the ref. Always something that'll make you feel good. Not exactly going to get a lot of results from that, from experience, but
Malachi was the starting goaltender for the Lisbon Greyhounds this season in the sport of soccer. The official, Patterson's trying to ask to have an offensive zone face-off. He will not get it. It will be Pittenger, Rathbone, and Salco on for forwards for the Dragon power play. It's Patterson and Wilson. Another long shift from the captain. Kept in by Heyman, he will fire, gloved by Shoemaker. Rebound attempt. Puck was underneath Bredicito. Rathbone knocks it towards Salco, and the Dragons will look to break out, still with the man advantage. Nice move by Salco. And Aceto gets it back for the moment. Kittinger spins, sends it in right to Parker Newell. Shoemaker will paddle it to Wilson. A minute left to work with on the man advantage. Patterson up ice. Rathbone makes the catch. And will take with speed. Hangs back now as Kittinger just knocks it right to Heyman, and he'll clear the zone.
So a couple passes strung together, but no real intent on offense.
Malachi, if they're going to gain the zone, it just has to be Ethan Patterson skating all himself, and he will give it up to Salco instead, who finally does gain the zone, fires straight up, deflected. Rathbone, the puck will hand pass, offensive zone hand pass on Matt Rathbone, and it's a offensive zone face-off for the York penalty kill. And yeah, hand pass. Rathbone's going to the box. A hand pass is not a 2-minute minor, so he must have said something to the official. That's all I can figure. That's pretty bizarre. Unless they made a hand pass a 2-minute minor, that I don't think they did. I would have to imagine they did not change that rule overnight, so Rathbone might have said something. Don't want to go anything against his character, but he does have a bit of a history of doing that this season.
2 minutes, unsportsmanlike
Yes,
conduct.
unsportsmanlike conduct is the call. So that'll end the Dragon power play. And in 24 seconds, when Susie is released, York will get another chance on the man advantage.
Do you think we'll see another goal here, Robert?
That York power play didn't have any real scoring chances on their last time out. The York play style, I think, really does benefit from having the extra space that is allowed by a 4-on-4. But I don't see Bredicito out there. I think the Dragons should be able to kill this off. And the puck will go right to Copeland. Copeland, a diving shot attempt, lands hard on the ice, and it's going to be a penalty, and the Dragon power play will not go out there because of Rathbone's penalty. But we'll be 4-on-4 for another 90 seconds. It is a hold on Connor Parent. Malachi really having some trouble working through the scoreboard. I mean, you're doing fantastic, but that's got to be tough, figuring out all these penalties.
Yeah, a lot of them canceling each other out, but bear with me as I get the power plays figured out here. Not that it might matter if the Dragons can sneak a goal in, that would be nice.
We got a quick whistle.
Penalty number 18, Connor Parent, 2 minutes holding.
Mm, 90 seconds of 4-on-4 and then 30 seconds of Dragon power play. So that does officially give York 0-for-2 on the power play. Both teams are. Patterson, one of the 4-on for the Dragons. Eldridge looking to clear the zone. He has Dorsey trailing him. Able to get around Ned Boak. Eldridge will fire, blocked by Patterson, and Patterson's got it for the Dragons. Patterson cuts back, sends it up ice for Copeland, couldn't handle it. Will Kuhlman has it taken away by Boak. Boak is knocked down by Eldridge. Patterson sends it across to Dorsey. Dorsey gives it back to Patterson. Puck bounds through to Shoemaker, and Patterson is not too happy about Eldridge giving that little poke at Shoemaker after he throws the puck. Patterson will go right back to talking to the official.
Not going to do you much good, but it does make you feel like you're doing something here.
Patterson will continue to talk, and he'll stay on the ice. Very good to see. Nope, he's off. Nope. Still 4-on-4 for the next 50 seconds, then 30 seconds of Dragon power play. Bowditch, Salko, Kittinger, and Wilson, the 4-on for the Dragons. Interesting to see them going with 3 forwards and 1 defenseman for their 4. Salko sends it up the ice for Parker Newell. Here is Heyman back to Newell. Up ice to Neal. Neal gains the zone. And will have a big hit on Kittinger. Kittinger not too happy. Going back after Aceto. Aceto's got it back now. He'll fire. Blocker saved by Shoemaker. He's been playing great hockey. Aceto keeps in the zone. Will look to fire again. Aceto back wide open is Heyman. He will get a free chance to fire, and he snipes the top shelf right over the shoulder of Michael Shoemaker, just all alone in the high circle.
Shoemaker can't do everything here. Very good shot, top corner of the net from pretty far out there. Brunswick just choosing not to close down those shots from distance and let Shoemaker go all on his own. He's doing a pretty good job, but can't do it all. 5-0 York in the second period. What do you think here, Robert?
I mean, how more wide open do you have to be as a shooter than Aiden Heyman was there? We'll have 4-on-4 for another 5 seconds and a Dragon power play. But you take a great shooting team like York and give them the extra space with the 4-on-4 and then give them that much space in the offensive zone. They're going to put pucks in the back of the net. Doesn't matter how good you are as a goalie. But speaking of good goalies, Shoemaker makes the great save on Aceto once again with space open in the offensive zone. Josh Neal credited with the assist on Heyman's goal. Patterson back on the ice for the Dragon power play here with 10 more seconds to work with. Rathbone has it. Will gain the zone. Rathbone hangs back. Loses it from Heyman. Nihill loses it to Aceto. And we're back to 5-on-5 play. Aceto rifles blocked by the skate of none other than Ethan Patterson. Salko gets lit up by Ober. Bowditch gains the zone for Brunswick Freeport. He'll hang back. Trying to get around Newell. And it's another penalty against York. It's an interference against somebody. Oh, I think it's going to be on Ober for that hit on Salko. Yeah, it was all apart from the play. So Ober to the box, 2-minute minor for interference. Dragon power play is over 3 on the night, and they'll get a 4th chance. 4th penalty on the night for the Wildcats, 7th total.
Brunswick's, even with all these penalties, unable to get even a lot of shots in these power plays. What can they do better here, Robert?
Just, they have to make better passes in the offensive zone. They can't lose the puck. They really have had maybe 20 seconds of zone time between their 3 power plays, and that's just, we'll never be able to score. Patterson's got it below the blue line. He'll rifle it wide, and Dorsey collects it. Dorsey, centering pass here is Nihill back to Patterson. Patterson fires over the net, hits the back glass. Nihill hit against the boards. Dorsey's got it. Dorsey will fire off the post. Puck goes to Bowditch. Bowditch back to Dorsey. Dorsey broken up. Puck squirts through to Copeland. Back to Patterson. No. Able to be cleared by York. 28 seconds to go in the second period. Patterson spins. Patterson up the ice. Won by Nihill. Sent around looking for Bowditch, but Parent wins the race. And parents will clear again. Racing after it is Levi Bernard, and Bernard has it. Patterson gets it back. There's 3 seconds, maybe a buzzer beater with Bowditch from center ice will not take the shot. And that does it for the second period. Another 2 goals from York, scored by Susie and Heyman. 5-0 Wildcats. Malachi Madore on the microphone, as well as our scoreboard, sponsored by Singer Dominguez Portside Real Estate. Myself, Robert Bowen, on the microphone, and Brandon Ware on our camera. We thank you for joining us. York leads 5-0 going into the third. Dragons will be on the power play for the first 54 seconds of the period. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our third and final. I think it probably is the final period of action here from Biddeford Ice Arena in the great town of Biddeford, Maine, as the Brunswick Freeport Dragons take on the Wildcats from York, Biddeford, and Lucas Hall from Old Orchard Beach. You know, can't forget about Lucas.
Not at all, Robert. No, heading into this third period, I'm really looking forward to Chick-fil-A after the game. Would be my highlight of the day so far.
Yeah, what's the go-to order?
So I had classic chicken sandwich, homemade lemonade, waffle fries, and extra Chick-fil-A sauce with the Polynesian sauce for the fries. I think it's where it's at.
I'm excited. I have never had Chick-fil-A before, but people really do hype it up.
I would say it lives up to about 80 to 90% of the hype.
Okay. Now, does it still count as fast food? It seems like they take a lot of good care over there.
I would say it's a notch above other fast food. They bring it out to you if you're sitting down, and it does take a minute longer, but it's still fairly affordable. Meal, sandwich, drink, side will only run you about $10.
Of course, we are not sponsored by Chick-fil-A, but if you are Mr. Filet himself, please do contact us. We'd love your money to pay for anything. Of course, we are still a non-profit community service organization, so we don't make a dime off this, Malachi. We're here solely for the love of the game, which we do really love the game to be watching.
To be watching this game, really do gotta love the game, and as not even a Brunswick student myself, I'm just happy to be here.
Well, it is 5-0 York. They are a great team, sitting at 11-4 in second place in B South, but talking about sponsorships, really are just so grateful for Singer Domingo Sportside Real Estate and all they've done for us. I'm wearing some merch right now that they paid for, and Malachi's running the scoreboard that they paid for.
Thank you so much to our sponsors for this amazing scoreboard. Very easy to run, very user-friendly.
Sport Cam does often crash, resulting in just horrible malfunctions for you guys watching at home, but it's doing okay so far today. You can turn that power play back on. The Dragons do have the man advantage for 54 seconds. Ethan Patterson does not start the period once again. Saved by Shoemaker off the center ice blast from Parker Newell. Ignacio will retain possession. Wilson gives it back to him. Copeland couldn't handle the puck. Really not a good sign for the Dragons. Jamison Palmer not in the game. It's Carter Copeland with Dorsey and Bowditch. Palmer, great forward. Of course, just his chemistry with Bowditch and Dorsey were the highlight of the Dragons' offense throughout the whole season. So Palmer being out is just a pretty horrible sign.
Palmer took a pretty big hit at the end of that second period. Let's hope he's okay.
Dragons' next game is on Thursday against Gorham. Hope that Palmer will be back for that. But our next stream on BHSN, boys basketball in the Northern semifinal against Edward Little. Here's Bowditch into the zone. Bowditch will loft it wide of the net. Sent up the ice. No, stopped by Ignacio. Copeland tries to center to Bowditch. Cut off by Davis. Here's Wilson in the defensive zone. Wilson up ice, caught Bowditch. Bowditch has Evan Dorsey. He gains the zone. Dorsey in the slot fires glove made by T-Bone.
Already some better passing and transition and offense by the Dragons here. I'm not sure what has changed here, but being able to clear the puck from their defensive end, string a couple passes together into a shot, not something we've seen really at all today.
Rathbone on with Kittinger and Salco. It's Ryan Nihill playing defense some more. Here's Rathbone gets the steal, but can't get the shot off with Eldridge sending it up the ice to Ober, fresh out of the penalty box. Dragons fall to 0 for 4 on the power play tonight, or rather this afternoon. Still a solid 3:48 p.m. Puck to Kittinger. Kittinger, as Shoemaker sends it up the ice, but right to Ober on net save by Shoemaker. He'll freeze it. It will be Wilson on with Ethan Patterson for the Dragon defense duo. Rathbone, Kittinger, and Salco. Rathbone wins the face-off to Patterson. Patterson, you just got to take it yourself, man. Do not try to make a pass. Well, he does pass. It's a nice pass to Salco. And he'll hang back in the zone, absorbing the hit from Parent. And Patterson going to work on the forecheck. Rathbone stealing the puck on net, saved by Tebow. He scoops it up. Patterson will stay on the ice. Once again, Patterson just generating the zone time himself. He's the only guy who can break the puck out. I would say Dorsey and Palmer and Bowditch have been doing pretty well breaking the puck out, but it really seems Patterson is just a league above everybody else in that department. Rathbone wins it forward. Patterson keeps it in the zone and just fires straight into the rafters. I believe it was Caleb Lemieux who broke it up and sent it into the metal.
Might as well do that at this point. I mean, switch something up, you know, maybe a new puck will give some better luck here.
Patterson stays on. Landry loses the faceoff, but still tied up. And one out to Heyman. Blay giving it up to Lemieux. Lemieux into the zone. Patterson will bump Lemieux into the boards, and Nicky Easton trying to break out. Cannot. Landry sends it up into the neutral zone. Shoemaker paddles to Patterson. Patterson surveys, will saucer up to Easton, now to Tyler Landry. Landry fires, save made by Tebow, and he'll freeze it. Is Patterson finally going to exit the ice? He does. Hopefully we'll see him back soon. Boak and Nihill, the defensive pairing, and still Palmer is out, probably out for the rest of the game. It will be Dorsey with Bowditch and Copeland. Dorsey loses the draw to Neal. Nihill below the blue line. Nihill at center ice will backhand it back into the zone. Tracked down by Brandon Wyatt, the Biddeford forward. Boak is lit up by Josh Neal, and Dowling takes into the zone. He'll fire. It is a offside. It was Brett Aceto overzealous across the blue line. But good to see Ned Boak pop right back up. Huge collision with Neal. Neal now taking the draw against Dorsey. Dorsey wins it back to Boak. Wyatt on net. Knocked aside by Shoemaker. Nihill off the wall. Tipped by the blade of Carter Copeland. Here's Parent to Aceto. Couldn't handle it. Copeland racing after it in the corner, poking at it with Wyatt. Wyatt shoves him aside. Punched forward, and that's a hand pass. I'm not sure what we're missing here. Rathbone did the same thing earlier. I think everybody on the ice knows that's a rule that you can't bat it forward in the offensive zone. But Ignacio will get called for an offensive zone face-off for York.
Just doing everything at this point, Robert. I mean, nothing to lose here.
Neal versus Rathbone. Neal wins it forward to himself. Rathbone trying to steal it back. Nearly does, but Dowling has it for the Wildcats. Brendan Dowling sends it to Aceto. Kittinger has lost his stick. So 4.5 defenders now on for Brunswick Freeport. Kittinger scoops it up. Here's Heyman. Open shot saved by Shoemaker. Heyman had that beautiful goal earlier when he put the puck top shelf over Shoemaker's shoulder. That time Shoemaker makes the stop. Bit of a lower arcing shot.
Shoemaker, definitely the player of the game for the Dragons. Putting in some good saves here to keep the score at least, you know, in the single digits here.
Backhanded aside by Susi. no icing. The official says it was deflected. Left off for Joey Davis. Davis up ice to Bernard. Collision there. Rathbone knocked down by Susie. Newell cuts back, sends the puck to Bernard. Cut off though by Inacio. Puck lodged in the corner. Rathbone comes in to try help to dig it out. Rathbone will knock down Susie. Those two have been going at it. Wilson keeps in the zone, sends it wide. Bernard trying to break out for York, and he does. Inacio slides to his knees. Wilson to Kittinger. Kittinger trying to poke it up the ice, cannot. Taken over by Parent. Parent will fire wide of the net. Here's Susie. Broken up by Salco. Rathbone enters the zone. He's surrounded by 4 Wildcats. Puts it on net though. Save made by Tebow. Generates the rebound. But no Dragon there to scoop it up. Instead it's Connor Parent. Parent into the zone. He'll get around 4 Dragons. Save made by Shoemaker's shoulder. And knocked into the netting for a whistle.
Just really good carrying the puck up there by Parent. Resulting in a shot. Brunswick defense not really closing him down. Just letting him go by. That's why we got a 5-0 scoreline right now.
Yeah, that's a pretty remarkable piece of skating there from 18 and white Connor Parent, who was one of the best players on Biddeford last year, now on this York Biddeford OOB co-op. Collision there along the boards. Boak sends it up too far for Copeland, but we're going to get a penalty. It's another interference call. Not sure who it is against yet. It's going to be against Bronson Eldridge, and a 5th penalty on the night for the Wildcats.
See if Brunswick can finally generate maybe a scoring chance here and make it respectable.
Good point, Malachi. Not just score on the power play. How about a nice scoring chance? Haven't really seen it yet. The Dragons 0 for 4 on the man advantage so far. Dorsey versus Henry Ober. They'll win the faceoff, but Ober's able to immediately clear the zone. Shot, save, Shoemaker, rebound is knocked up the ice by Copeland, too far for Bowditch. Dorsey has it to Inacio. Save, Shoemaker. Dorsey gives it back to Copeland. Copeland up the ice. And rocketed back on Shoemaker to kill more time for the York penalty kill, which has already killed 4 penalties. Ober centering pass, shot save made by Shoemaker. Number 10 in white already has 2 goals. Nearly made it a hat trick on the shorthanded chance. Unable to. Dorsey has Bowditch. Bowditch gains the zone. Gets underneath. Newell fire save Tebow. And Newell able to clear. Stopped by Inacio across to Wilson. Wilson back to Inacio. Cleared the zone by Heyman once again. The Dragons still have not had a scoring chance on their 5th power play of the afternoon. Nihill has it. Aceto cuts off the pass for the York penalty kill. Centering pass to Neal. Neal turns around, backhands it wide. Nihill gives it up the ice. Here's Connor Parent. Parent will look to center. Now trying to wrap around. Just killing more clock. Sticked aside by Shoemaker. Wilson trying to clear the zone. Cannot. Kept in by Parent. Dragons still, believe it or not, on the power play. And now they will release Eldridge back to full strength. Aceto gets around Landry. He'll fan on the shot, though, and it's wide. Dowling has it for the Wildcats. Centering pass still alive in the crease, but Now knocked out of harm's way on net again. Save made by Shoemaker off the shot by Connor Parent. The Dragons still have been pinned in their defensive zone for about 40 seconds. Finally cleared for an icing and more zone time for York.
Really can't be icing on your 5th power play of the night here, Robert. Just gotta find some way to get it out when you have that 1-man advantage.
Now we're back to 5-on-5. The Dragons 0 for 5 on the power play and down 5-0. Ethan Patterson is in the game.
Very nice.
Bobuff knocks it to his captain. Patterson has Copeland up to Bowditch. Poked out of the zone, though, by Joey Davis. Bowditch has Dorsey. Dorsey back to Patterson on net, save Tebow, and wide. Patterson will punch it forward. Would have been a hand pass, but York touched the puck next, so it is not. Patterson can't keep it in the zone with his foot. One of the best players on the boys soccer team that made it to the state championship this season, Ethan Patterson. Dorsey gains the zone. Offside, Copeland was past the blue line. Neutral zone face-off. Patterson will stay in the game, now with Drew Wilson. Once again, the Dragons really just depleted in the ranks of defensemen with both Sam Jansen and Avery Sampson out.
Got a small sample of defensemen here tonight, Robert.
3-on-1 for York. Pass was broken up by none other than Ethan Patterson, just saving another goal there. That was a very funny pun there, Malachi.
Talk about sampling distributions today, Robert. AP stats.
Well, there are 3 Sam defensemen on this Dragons team. Patterson was announced to be a co-defenseman of the month in Class B South. In the month of January. Not sure who the other defenseman would have been. Patterson's the best one I've seen among these 8 teams. Rathbone will take the draw. Patterson still on the ice with Drew Wilson on defense. Wilson can't keep it in the zone. Icing, though. Ozone face-off for the Dragons. Good to see that the ozone layer was patched up. That was about 30 years ago, but, you know, they did a great job.
Oh, yeah, very, very good job, Robert. You know, lots of...
ozone hole. The hole in the ozone layer was patched up.
Impacts of the environmental change there, you know. Good to keep those harmful UV rays off of our skin.
Patterson couldn't keep it in the zone. That would be a high stick, but it is touched next by Lemieux instead. So we'll play on. Lyons knocks up the ice to Will Cumin. Cumin off the glass. Number 10 in white will enter the zone. And an interference. Is this going to be a 6th penalty against the Wildcats? Yes, it is. Parker Blade, the sophomore, forward from Biddeford.
Do you think the Dragons will get a shot on goal here, Robert?
I'm going to go with no.
Do you think the Dragons will get shot on?
Yes, I actually think that York will spend more time in the offensive zone than Brunswick during this power play.
I would agree with that.
Boak on net, gloved by Tebow.
And there's your shot, Robert. He definitely heard you from down there.
Shot was going to go over the net, but Tebow did reach up the glove just to stat pad his save percentage. Boak has it blocked. And now Tyler Landry trying to get the power play settled, sends it across to Lyons. Lyons back to Boak. Aceto able to clear the zone, and here come the Wildcats. Aceto with Neal to his left, fires, it's deflected, and over the net. shots wide. Aceto, and now the penalty kill gets settled on offense for York. Kept in the zone by Newell still, and here's Neal. Oh, they're going to say that's offside. Newell did not keep it in after all. Neutral zone face-off. Felt like they waited an extra second to blow that whistle.
Perhaps.
Dorsey versus the two-time goal scorer for York, number 10. Dorsey steals it, gives it to Copeland. Copeland entering the zone. Sent back up ice. Shot is deflected by Sam Manassio. Manassio rounding the net. Dorsey who knocks towards Wilson's. Dragons still have the 5-on-4 man advantage. But I think my prediction about York having more zone time is true thus far. And maybe impossible to be not true at this point.
How's your hip doing, Robert? You know,
It's all right.
good to hear. Good to hear. Think you might have a chance at returning for your lacrosse season this year?
I really do think so, yeah.
It's good to hear.
Wilson up ice for Bodic. Bodic has Dorsey. And York gets the puck back. The Dragons are going to fall to 0 for 6 on the power play with a total of maybe 2 shots on goal in those 6 attempts.
That seems right to me, Robert. Yeah, I would say they got 30% of offensive possession in those times.
And that will release play. We will be playing York this year in lacrosse. Definitely Aceto, Dowling, and Neal, some guys to watch.
I think you, Boba, Salco, going to get your get back on these York guys.
And Mike Shoemaker and Ryan Livesey should be the starting attack group. Of course, we are also getting Grayson Reeves back from the great North Yarmouth Academy. Love to see the music continue to play during the play, which is, not supposed to be happening. Niall will loft it right out of play. Dragons keep out Salco, Rathbone, and Kittinger. It's Bernard, Susi, and Sturza, the 3 forwards for the Wildcats.
Should I go warm up the car here, Robert?
Yeah. Salco up ice too far for Kittinger. Sturza on for the first time. He is a freshman forward from York. Rathbone versus Zusi for the Dragon defensive zone faceoff. Just 96 more seconds. Dragons are going to fall to 4-13 on the season. They'll play their final game on Thursday at USM at Gorham. The Dragons won 5 games 2 seasons ago and 3 last year. So now at 4, better than last year, but still would need to beat Gorham in order to tie that 23-24 team that lost to York in the first round of the playoffs in overtime.
1 minute left in the game. 1 minute.
Who is your player of the game today, Robert?
Rathbone with a huge hit there on the freshman Storza. Yeah. Shot score by Parker Blay. We'll do stars in a second. Really did immediately score after we started talking about stars of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a shame that number 10 isn't on this roster because he scored 2 goals, would definitely be a star, but no idea what his name is.
So are we going with number 10 as player of the game?
No, he's not getting anything.
Seems a bit unfair, Robert.
Caleb.
Yeah,
there's no Caleb on here at all.
Number 3.
Oh, Caleb Lemieux, maybe. Oh, they're just talking about Lemieux.
He's
I
assisted by
don't know.
number 18, Connor Parrott, and number 10, Jace Clary.
Would they just say Jace Cody? Chase Cody? Yeah. Well, here is Cody, maybe. Enters the zone. Fire save made by Shoemaker. York student section appears to be leaving. Could be from Biddeford, too. You never know.
Or Old Orchard Beach to support the one.
Lucas Hall, of course.
Lucas Hall, yeah.
Sent up to Houston, maybe to break our shutout in the final seconds. No. Dragons lose 5-0. All right, Malachi, let's get our 3 stars here. I think I overheard them saying number 10's name was Chase Cody, so yeah, that sounds like a real name that exists. He's my first star, scored 2 goals.
No, I would agree. Good effort from Shoemaker on the Dragons here. Not much else to speak of. No, just look to improve going into the playoffs here. Well, what do you think the key points taken away on this game would be heading into the locker room for these Dragons?
Yeah, they need Sam Jansen and Avery Sampson back, and they need Ethan Patterson back. And you get those 3 guys back, they'll be all right. They can go upset Kennebunk. They played with Kennebunk toe-to-toe for most of those 2 games. That's probably who the playoff matchup is going to be next week. Get those 3 back. They'll be all right. I still think Ethan Patterson should probably play forward once they get the 2 Sams back, but we'll see what happens. Dorsey, J-Mo, and Bowditch have been playing great, getting the puck on offense. They need to get Palmer back as well, but they've been having the best scoring chances. They just need to start putting the puck in the back of the net when the Dragons do play Kennebunk, but they've been getting some great scoring chances. Really love to see it. Second star of the game, Malachi, you will be awarding.
I'm going to give that one to... My second star of the game would be Heyman, number 2, scoring that top corner goal from pretty far out in the second period, I believe.
Yeah, that was a beautiful shot from Aiden Heyman, a senior defenseman from Biddeford High School. And for my 3rd star, it's got to be Michael Shoemaker. He played great, allowed 5 goals, but I'm not going to get mad at him. Fantastic game from Shoemaker. We don't have the exact figure on the amount of saves he made, but I believe it was somewhere in the category of a lot.
I would say definitely into the 20s, 30s, perhaps. Very good game, just not supported very much by his defense. But these games happen, and the best thing you can do is best thing an athlete can do is a short memory. Move on to the next one, regroup with the team, and head strong into playoffs here, Robert.
Yeah, well, Wednesday at 7 o'clock, Brunswick boys basketball, round 3 against Edward Little, fighting for a chance to go to the Class A North Championship, most likely against Camden Hills and Nolan Ames. And then on Thursday, Brunswick boys hockey at the University of Southern Maine in Gorham against Gorham. We'll see you guys then. Malachi Madore on the microphone, as well as the scoreboard sponsored by Singer & Domingo Sportside Real Estate, Brandon Ware on the camera, and myself, Robert Bowen on the microphone.